Namaste. I welcome you all to the video lecture series of DBMS. My name is Drashti Gardharia and I am faculty at ICT Marwad University. Let me share my screen. Till now, we have seen types of join, date function, group by, order by, how the subquery will be helpful, different types of select, as well as we also have seen what is the use of stored, how we can set a trigger with specific DML query. Fine. In the last lecture, we have seen what is column constraint. Column constraint means you can set not null, you can set default, you can check specific condition, as well as you can set non-unique, auto increment. All are nothing but your column constraint. Fine. So that is a part of create query, or you can update the column constraint after your table is created with the help of alter query. What is indexing? Indexing is a part of your data description. So whenever you want to add or remove indexing, you require a alter command to remove a specific index. What is null function? Null function means if you want to operate on comparing a null value, then you use the different types of null function. Okay, if you have not aware about this, I request you all to visit the last lecture. Today our topic is, today we will learn what is the relations, how you can establish a relation between different tables with the help of primary key and the foreign key. As well as we will see in this lecture what is data control language and what is transaction control language. Okay, and what are the command that we can use to perform the task. Now here are the description. Till now we have created 8 video lecture and this is the description for each and every video. Now let me explain what is data control language. Data control language means you want to specify a specific user privileges, okay, and how you can provide the specific privileges to the user with the help of grant. And if you want to remove some privileges from the specific user for a specific table and with the specific types of operation you want to revoke a permission, you use the revoke command. Am I clear with these things? And this is the syntax, and this way you can grant as well as revoke specific comment. Now you can ask, ma'am, what is user one? User one is a specific user. Right now we have login with the help of root user. Root user are the admin user. But in an admin user, you can create multiple roles, and based on that specific role, you can allow specific activity to that specific table. Other than that activity are not permitted to the specific user, so they cannot do the modification or any specific role that you have not assigned to that user. Fine. Now how you can create a user as well as how you can check what was the permission that is allowed to the user, that we will see in this today's video lecture. Now this is the syntax grant, and what is this? These are the SQL query. When I say grant select comma update on store to user one, means we are granting a user one to allow select as well as update on a store table. This way you can write a grant query, and grant is your command which is belong to the category of DCL, data control language. Now how you can revoke the specific permission? For that you can use the revoke keyword, revoke update on store. Store is your table name. Okay, so after on you have to provide a table name, and then from whom you want to revoke. User one are not allowed to update in a store table. Why? Because you are revoking that permission, or you can say you are removing the privileges. Okay, this is the way you can allow, and this is the way you can remove the permission. Now what is DCL? That I will explain. Let me finish this two topic first. How you can assign the primary key, how you can assign the foreign key. Now you let me give you the idea about the primary key and the foreign key first. Primary key is, consider you want to set a specific column to not having any null value, as well as you are not allowing the duplicate to the specific column, then that column value R need to be non-null as well as non-duplicate. Okay, every column value, whatever the, if consider you are having the roll number, so in roll number column you are not allowed to assign the same roll number to the two user, yes or no? So what you can say, in the table of student, your roll number is your the column which have the property of not null, as well as it have no duplicate value. So what you can do, in that table you can assign roll number as a primary key. This primary key will be helpful to create a multiple relation with the other tables. Fine. So whenever you want to associate a different table, you can use this primary key concept, and primary key will be helpful to assign a specific relation, that this is the same user in the student table, and if the same roll number are there in your marks table, it means this is the same marks for a same student. So this way you can associate it to table with the help of primary key. Now you can ask, what is foreign key? Foreign key means, foreign key are the column which are part of your table, but it is referring the other table primary key. That we get more idea when I show you the example. Let me switch to the workbench. Let me start with the first task. First task says define the primary key, and we have two tables, store table and the city table, and as the value suggests, we are not repeating the same store key again and again, as well as we are not repeating the city key in a city table. Okay, so what you can do, you can set a store key as a primary key in a store table, as well as you can set city key as a primary key in your city table. And as we already have this table, what you can do, you cannot use the create query. So what you can do, with the help of alter command, you can add a new constraint. Fine. So let me write down. This is the way you have to write. Alter. What table you want to alter? Alter table, table name. What table name you want to alter is your store table. And you want to add something, you want to remove something, or you want to modify something. Now you are adding the primary key. Yes or no? So write down alter table, table name, add primary key. This is the keyword. So you have to write down the primary key. And after the primary key, you have to provide with specific column, you have to set a primary key. Now, primary can be a single column or it can be a combination of two columns. Consider your table have a roll number as well as department ID. So in different department, you also have a same. Consider EC department have a roll number 1 as well as C department also have a roll number 1. But when we combine these two columns, you will always come across a unique value. So there can be case in a single table, you have a combination of two columns as a primary key. And that need to be right in this round bracket. What is this? Store key. And let me run this line. They are showing no database is selected. So you have to select the use test DB. This is my table name. And now let me run this line. Yes. Now they are saying alter command had successfully completed. Now what else you have to do is you have to perform the same thing but in a city table. Yes or no? Now add primary key. And then you have to have a round bracket, and in that you have to provide city key. Yes. Should I run this line also? Yes. Now our first task is complete. What is the second task is, we have to define a foreign key relationship. Now what is the foreign key relationship? Primary key are the unique in own table. Okay. Every table have their own primary key. But when one table's primary key are stored in another table, that is known as a foreign key. Am I clear or not? Consider I have one table and I have multiple columns, and in specific column I set up column 1 as my own primary key, but my column 2 and column 3 are fetch from the other table, and in that table they are primary key. So right now in my table, that table column that are the primary key of that table 2 and table 3 are considered as a foreign key for my table. Are you able to understand this thing? Let me show you our structure. This is the store table and this is the city table. Yes. Now what we are doing is, in city key we have a unique value as well as in store key we have a unique value. But right now you can see city key in a store table are not unique. Different store are open in a same city. So what you can say, foreign key need to be unique? No. Foreign key can be duplicated, but what thing you need to be associate is to become any column to be a foreign key, it need to be a primary key in some other table. Otherwise you cannot set that key as a foreign key. Am I clear or not? And how you can do that part? For that you have to write down. This is the way you can write down. Alter table. Now my command should be for altering the city table or for a store table, as we are adding the foreign key in my store table. So only one line you have to write. One SQL query you have to fire, that is alter table store. And in that you are adding a new foreign key. Okay. Foreign key, and here you have to provide specific city name. Okay. Now here city key is your foreign key, but it referring to what? That you have to provide. That this refers to, this is the table name, and in round bracket you have to write down that column name. What was the column name? Is city. Sometime it can be possible that you are setting that as a city number, but in original table it is renamed as city key. Then it is also possible. It not be required that same name should be there for foreign key as well as the primary key in that table. Okay. What is the problem is, here also foreign key might be a combination of multiple column. So here they are expecting a round bracket. Fine. References. Okay. Should I run this now? Let me execute this line. And as we are not getting any error, we hope we are having no error. So how can you check this keys are set or not? For that you have to check the description of that table. Okay. Let me run this thing. What you can see here, store key is your null or no. Here the store key is no. No means the store key never get a null value. Why? Because store key is your primary key and primary key will never have a null. That's why in a store key we have a null constraint. No. Null can be added in store table. But in city key, manager and stock we can have a null, yes. But in store key we don't allow to add a null. Fine. Now what is this? This is key. Key means primary key. Store key is your primary key. What is MUL? MUL is multiple. Now whenever you see MUL means on this specific column we are setting the foreign key. And there can be a case if you have created index for the specific column, they will show you the MUL as in a key constraint. Fine. So multiple will be shown if you are setting a foreign key. Let me check for a city table also. Here also you can see this is a primary key, and if your key is your primary, you are not allowed to add null. That's why they are doing by default. We are not doing any constraint. Ideally there can be case that we want a region to be, no one will allow to add a null region. Then how can I do this part? With the help of alter table city modify. Whenever you are doing modify, you have to provide whole idea. Starting from this column name, afterwards you have to provide what is the varchar character, what is the size you want to set, as well as what the specific constraint you want to set. If you are allow, here right now is already been allowing the null, but if I want not null, then it means afterwards region will never have a null value. Whenever you are adding a new entry of city, you also have to mention that this city is belong to the which region of your Gujarat. Am I clear or not? If I run this line, then fine. But this doesn't mean that the region is your primary key. Column can be not null, but it doesn't mean that is a primary key. To become a primary key, you have to write this type of constraint. Okay. Am I clear? Okay. Now let me execute the next part. As we have completed the first problem, that is the task number 1, we have completed. What is the task number 2? Now read the task number 2. They are saying that as an administrator, create a new username with the inventory clerk. Now as we have login as a root user, we are administrator of this software, yes or no? Now administrator have a rights to create a new user. By default every administrator have a right to create a new user as well as grant a different permission to specific table to users. Fine. Now how can you create a user? That is most important. Here we have provided that new user should have a name of this. Now we have already been assigned that new user should have the name inventory clerk. Now here they have not provided specific password. So what we can do, we keep a blank as a password, but if you want to set the password, you can also do. How can you create a new user? For creating a new user, you have to use the command create user. Create user, and afterwards you have to provide what is the specific name of your user that you want to set. Fine. Easy or not? This way you can create a new user, and that I will also show you how can you check the new user is created or not. For that you have here you have administrator as well as schema tab. Yes. So in an administrator tab you can see user and privileges. So in this user and privileges you will get the new name, where that is inventor clerk. After I execute this line, let me show you. Right now I have this user. These are all are my user. And what is this from host? From host means this user can access from which address. Now localhost means from this system they can access the database. But if I want to allow for every remote area also can access, then this sign is used. Fine. And as we are not specifying the host, then by default this user, that is inventory user, will have the percentage symbol. It means the new user can log in as well as perform the task from the remote use remote portal also. Fine, let me run. Now as I am able to create this user right now, should I able to see that constraint in this? Yes or no? Yes. This is the inventory clerk. Fine. And whatever the password is, default password they are able to set. But whenever I am creating a new connection, they will not ask any password because we have not set any password here. So let me jump to this site. Okay, now I want to create new connection, and as per the new user are you created, for every user you have to create a new connection. Connection means this is the platform through which you can access your database. Okay, now let me click on this. I want to assign a specific, let me give the idea as clerk, or what you can do, this is the user, and if I want to delete this user, what you can do, if you want to delete this connection, you can go to the setting part. In setting you can see this is the connection that is created for a Drashti user. So I want to delete this thing, simply click the delete, and now I want to create a new connection. Create on click, and now here you have to write down the name of your user. What is the name of your user is inventory clerk. Fine. So after pasting this, you just have to create new, or what you can do, you can, the new connection is default, new connection is name is given. Now you want to test the connection. Now if you are able to get the successfully made connection, your connection is created, and now you can use this specific connection for a inventory clerk user. Okay, so here I have not set the password, but if I set the password, you have to enter the specific password to log in into that. Now how can you know that this is the normal user and this is the exiting user? Can I update the name afterwards if I create it? Yes, you can also change the name with the help of this. You can click here, or you can paste a same name as the username. My connection name is also been set as, let me give the name this way. This is the connection specific inventory clerk connection. It is dedicated for the user inventory clerk. Fine. Now I want to refresh. As I update this thing, I want to check this is okay or not. Yes, it is connected. Now let me close this thing. So this is the same, but we renamed the connection. Now click on this. Now how many things I can perform as an inventory clerk? To check this thing, let me create the test DB. This is my database name, and in this database I want to perform some task. What task you want to do? This is the same database which are created with the admin. So let me check if I am having the access to access the, if I am have a rights to access the store table or not. Select star from store, and then click on execute. Now what they are saying is, this is the error message that we are having is no database selected. So I have to write execute everything. Okay, now this is executed, and then this line is executed. The error message is this. Please read the error message. What the error message is saying, that access denied for the user inventory clerk at the rate and then percentage. Now as I explained, what is at the rate and percentage is, percentage means from which host you want to access, and as we have not mentioned anything, so by default inventory clerk can access anywhere from anywhere. Now they don't have access to testdb. Why? Because we have created a user but we have not granted any permission. How can I grant the permission? To grant a permission, what you have to see, let me show you how can you check what are the grants they were that we have assigned to this user is show grants, and then whatever the name of your user. Okay, you have to use the keyword for show grants for inventory clerk. So in this table you can see what are the default grants you are having. This is the first line, that is grant user on dot means grant user on star to inventory clerk at the rate percentage. Now this is means you uses is allowed. Uses means you can access but you cannot perform any select, update, insert command. Okay, so here we have not assigned any permission. That's why this is the default permission that given to every new user. So here I can see that grant user is there, but if I want to add something here, what can I do? I use the command grant, and then what the permission you want to grant is, I want to allow the select. Okay, select on which table I want to allow the select command on table store, and this is for what? To which user we are talking about is inventory clerk. So this way I can allow a inventory clerk to perform a select operation on store table. Let me run this line. And as I run this line, you can see this grant table is also been updated. You can see grant select on testdb. Testdb is your database name and store is your table name. So now the inventory clerk have access to have a select command on a testdb database, and in specific database we are not allowed to use every table. We are only have a permission to perform a select command on a store table. How can we check? We have a connection that is for inventory clerk, and if previously I'm not allowed to do this task, but right now if I perform this thing, let me execute everything. Okay, now because table name also need to be select, so I use this arrow. It means they select the database as well as they perform this thing, and they are showing the current store data. Can I perform the same thing for a city table? Let me check. Here they are saying that inventory clerk have a denied for a select command on this city table. Okay, so what do you mean by this? That we are allowed to perform a select operation on a store table, but we are not allowed to perform a select operation on a city table. So this way you can specify a select permission. Now read the question. What we have to do is grant this user only a select and insert privileges on a store table. Now, as you are aware, insert is for adding a new record. So the new user inventory clerk have a permission to fetch something or insert a new data from the store table. Fine. This is the thing that we want to grant. So how can you do this thing? Here you can create a new query, or what you can do in a single query also you can provide multiple operations that you want to allow. I want to allow select as well as I also want to allow insert. Fine. And if you also want to allow update, then you should write this way. But here we have only have to perform select and insert. So I am removing the update part, and this is the thing that I am allowing. Let me run this line, and as I run this line, you can see this is the updation here. Yes or no? Should I allow them to the city table also? They have not mentioned anything, so we are not doing. But if you want to try this thing in your system, please try. It is very simple. Create new user, and after creating a new user, you have to go to the home button. This is the home button, then which or you have to press, and here you have to create a new connection with the help of this plus sign. When you click on this plus sign, they will ask for a connection name as well as they can ask what is the username. As you provide this thing, and if you have set any specific password, then you have to provide the password also. Fine. And after providing all this thing, you have to click on OK. Fine. And as they are showing, we have not doing anything, but we can cancel because we don't want to create a new connection. We have a one connection with the root user and one connection with the inventory clerk. So as I provided an insert operation permission, should I add a new record in a store table? How can you check? Write down insert operation, insert into store. What thing you want to add, that you have to mention in this. Right now I am just adding the new store key, and what the value you want to add. I want to add a 50 number as your store key. Fine. What do you think? They will allow or not? They will allow or not? Think again. We have to create a new store, but we are not providing any city key. Is this fine or not? Let me execute this thing. And they are showing the new entry is been added. How can you check the value is added or not? For that you have to perform select star from store. And what do you think? What would be the city key value? It is a null. Yes or no? Everything other than store key are null. So here 50 and rest of the thing are null. Now your question is, ma'am, city key is your foreign key and any foreign key can be a null? Yes or no? Can we allow any foreign key to be a null? Yes, foreign key can be a null, but your primary key never been null. Try to insert a new record with the only city key. What do you think? This will perform or not? We are not providing a store key, but we are providing the city key. Anything you can provide other than store key. What do you think? They will allow or not? Let me execute, and this is the error message they are having is filled store key does not have a default value. What was the error message is? We cannot add anything in a store key as we have not provided any default value. Ideally, in a primary key, you can also associate a default value that if user are miss something to add in your primary key, the default value will be reflected. Fine. So this way they are not allowing to add anything without a store key because store key is your primary key and your city key is your foreign key and foreign key can be null. Fine. Now what is the next task you have to perform is read the line. Attempt to execute an update statement using this, the new user account, and document the resulting error. This is the question that you have to answer. What was the question is, you have to try to execute update statement on a store table, and after, as we have not allowed to perform the update operation on a store table, but we perform the update operation, they will show some error message. Here they are asking to document the resulting error message. So whatever the error message that we are having, you have to write down. First of all, you don't have to perform the update query from the root user login. You have to perform the update query from the inventory clerk connection. Fine. So you know the syntax for update command, yes or no? Update table name, or you directly have to write update table name. You don't have to use the word table. Fine. So update store, what you want to set? I want to set city key as 10. Okay. And where you want to set 10? Where your store key is 50. Fine. Ideally this query look fine, but what will happen here, as we have not allowed the update operation to the allowed to perform this query. Fine. Now what was the last thing that you are asking is revoke the insert privileges from the inventory clerk user. Now you know how to grant, but you know how to revoke. This is same as grant. You simply have to replace the grant word from the revoke. Revoke, and whatever the permission you want to revoke, that is insert on store to inventory clerk. Fine. This way you can revoke the permission. Revoke insert on table to inventory clerk. Now whenever you are providing something, you are using the to word, but whenever you are revoking something, you want to write a from. Revoke insert on a store from a inventory clerk. Inventory clerk have some privileges that you want to remove, so you use the word from. Fine. Let me execute line, and as we are not having any error message, this should be successfully updated. Yes, you can see right now we don't have a insert in this line. And also you can check from here also, previously we are doing the insert operation, they are allowing the insert operation, but now as we update this value, what you happen, they will allow or not. As we have revoked the insert permission, they will not allow the insert command. The same error message as update are displayed, that insert command denied to the user inventory. Many time in your competitive exam, the error code or error message are, you have to identify this is a scenario that which type of error you can come across. So this line you have to remember. What was the problem here is, we are not having any problem of primary key or any constraint. That is the problem of privileges, that it is not permitted to perform this specific task by the specific user, and that's why this command is denied to the inventory clerk to perform on a store table. Am I clear or not? This way you can create multiple role for different positions. You can assign the team 1 can only have to perform on table 1 and 2. Team 2 can only operate on table 2 and 3. This way you can classify the work based on their need. As I am doing the leave management, I only have to access the leave tables. Someone are doing on a registration table, so they can also only have access to the registration table. This way, based on the requirement, you can divide the permission. Fine. And that can be performed with the help of administrator, or administration can have a access to create other admin staff. Okay. Now as we have already been seen, this is the part, and this is come across the privilege management, and also you can say this is data control language, and how we are controlling is with the help of grant and revoke. Now the last topic, that is the transaction control language. Hello everyone, we have reached the TCL, transaction control language. But before I start the transaction control language, I want to show you that where I am doing the switch operation. Here, as I click on this home button, you will find this where I am created two connection, one with the root user, one with the inventory clerk. So when I want to switch from root to the inventory, what I have to do is I have to change the tab. Okay, so here I am not able to perform any tasks that are not granted to the inventory clerk. Fine. And that all thing I'm doing from this root connection. Why? Because root connection have the administration privilege. They can assign a new roles to the existing user, as well as they can revoke the different privileges. Fine. So this is the thing that you have to keep in mind. Now what is TCL? TCL is transaction control language. To explain what is TCL, let me show you this table. Now what can I explain is, transaction means there are a transfer of something. Okay, when you are doing some operation where you have to execute multiple query, and that all query club as one, that all query club, and it will be known as one single transaction. Fine. So ideally what will happen, transaction should complete 100% or 0%. In between if you reach, then it will not make any sense. Yes or no? Your ATM machine will not show that your 50% transfer is complete. No, they will show you transaction is failed or transaction is successful, not intermediate stages allow. Yes or no? So this is the same way we have to do in when we are doing the any operation on our database. Fine. Now with the help of commit command, rollback command, and the save point, we will use the transaction control. We will create a transaction control language. This all are the commands similar to the select, update. These all are your command. Fine. Now what do you mean by the commit? Please read this line. Commit is a command, and what was the purpose of this command is, and this is the way you have to write down your command and then semicolon and execute this commit. Fine. Whenever you execute this line, what do you mean by this? Whatever you had done before this line execution, that all are copied to your permanent memory. Fine. And this is possible because you are performing a commit. Now you ask me, ma'am, before we have started this unit, we are not performing the commit operation, though we are able to see the changes in our original table. Why that so? Because in workbench, let me show you the workbench. In a workbench, what you can see, are you not able to see? But from the query language, from the query tab, you can find auto commit transaction option. By default, this option is tick. So what do you mean by this tick operation is, whenever you are doing or anything like insert operation, if I'm not committing anything, what will happen? All the changes are performed on a temporary storage that we are showing in our output. But when I close the connection, as I need to close this workbench, yes or no? So whenever I close the workbench and next time when I open the workbench, what will happen? My server, SQL server is restart. Okay, and this all changes that we have done without the commit will you not able to find in your original table. And why that so? Because you are not doing the commit. And right now we are able to find out all this operation is because we are having this option tick. If I don't want to do this thing by the software, what you can do, insert into, consider this is the query I don't want to fire. Fine. Insert into store and specific manager detail, whatever you want to enter. This is my SQL query, yes or no? And this is XYZ, whatever the username you want to enter. And after this command, every time there is this line, you are not able to see this thing because that is performed by the software. But whenever you are writing any query, this query and the commit will perform in a single go. Okay, and that's why when we restart our SQL connection, all the changes that are performed in the previous session will be reflected in our permanent storage. Am I fine or not? Right now you can ask, ma'am, whatever we are getting in the output are the permanent memory or temporary? So let me clear it out this. Whenever you want to start, start your connection, the data which are lying in the table, original table, are copied to the temporary table. And I will show you what is the rollback as well as what is save point. Save point is nothing but a notation which we use to mark a specific location. Okay, consider you have a 10 query to execute. So what you can do, you can put different places, different save point with the name of S1, S2, S3, whatever name you want to put. And with the help of this, what you can do, after you have putting all this thing, you have not do the commit. As you have not performed the commit, ideally commit will be performed at the last. After you are happy with all the operation, at the last you do the commit. Have you seen the database management system? In that you have a transaction T1, T2, T3, and as T1 have performed all the read and write operation, at the last we do the commit. And if something happened in between, what we want to do, we want to do the rollback. Here the rollback is possible because of the different save points. And here, as we are doing the rollback as a manual task, you have to provide which position you want to roll back. Okay, so command would be rollback to whatever the point name you have set. This is the way you have to perform a rollback. And these are the forceful rollback we are doing from the user end. Okay, so let me start with the practical. Yes, now what we have to do here is read the line. We want to perform a transfer of 10 amount of stock from store 1 to store 4. Okay, so what will happen after we perform this operation? What they ask is, after you have complete this operation, now you have to roll back. You don't want to do the commit. If everything is fine, ideally you will do the commit at the last. Okay, Now you can ask, ma'am, should we start transaction and transaction that you have to use? No. Simply write the code as you are doing. Just you have to set a different place as a save point. I'm setting the save point here. In an initial, I'm setting S1. And after S1, I want to perform what? I want to perform update or insert. Right now, I'm doing what? I'm doing the transfer. Transfer means we are not adding a new record. We are updating an existing value. So I require to perform a update. Update. What table name is? This is my table name. And what I want to update is whatever the existing stock is, I want to take a 10 amount of stock from the existing value, and this will be happen in which place? At a store key 1. Am I clear or not? Yes. And one more line you have to write. What was the next line you have to write? After this, you have to perform this plus operation. Why? Because you are adding something in existing stock. This is the way you have to do, yes or no? Okay. Now, after doing all this thing, how can I verify this is the value that are been performed in our temporary table, yes or no? For that, we require to check with the help of select star from store, yes or no? If everything is fine, store value should be updated. Let me show you the what was the original value right in this line. Okay, you can see here manager Ramesh are handling the store 1 and the stock is right now 11. Okay, and same way store 4 have a handled by the Ramesh, but their stock amount is 4. Now after this operation, what will be the case? The stock amount at store 1 would be 1 and the stock amount at the store key 4 would be 14, yes or no? So let me run all this line. Important part is I had not used the auto commit transaction. Whatever I want to commit, that would be done by my individual command. Fine. So save point S1 will be saved. Then after this is the update line will be performed. This all are green means that all are successfully done. And after this operation, you can also observe that stock value would be also updated. Now what was given is, now you want to perform a rollback. How you can perform the rollback? With the help of rollback command. Consider you have multiple save point. In that case, you have to provide which specific position you want to roll back. Okay, so whatever you done after this save point, that all command will be rollback. Fine. Let me execute this thing and let me check the store amount. Now you can able to see, yes, it is now not 1, it is 11. Now it is not 14, it is a 4. That is because of the rollback command. I hope you get the idea about how the TCL will work. I see you in the next video lecture. Till then, practice.